Are you planning a trip to Uluru Ayers Rock? Before you book anything, there are a few mistakes that could seriously affect your whole experience. In this video, I'll show you exactly when to go, how to get there, what's truly worth your time. Let's get started. Right, first up, timing. And this is a biggie where a lot of international travelers go wrong. Australia's seasons are the opposite of Europe and North America. Summer in Australia runs from December through to February, winter is June through to August. So if you're planning your Uluru trip for January, because when you take your holidays, you are walking into the hottest, harshest and most difficult time of the year to visit the outback. Summer temperatures at Uluru often push past 40 degrees Celsius or 104 Fahrenheit. So once you hit 36 degrees, many of the walking tracks automatically close, so you could arrive to find there's almost nothing you can do outside. Tours run at sunrise only, by 9 AM it's over. And the flies, I'll come back to the flies in a moment, but believe me, they deserve their own conversation. So what's a better move? May through to September, the dry season. Days are warm, between 18 and 28 degrees. You can walk all day. The flies are minimal and everything is open. The sweet spot inside that window are April and May and September to October, the shoulder season. You get good weather, fewer tour groups than in July and August, and the flies are on their way out. One thing to be aware of: June, July are colder months at night. Temperatures can drop below 0 degrees. If you're traveling in winter, pack more layers than you think you need. Quick question: what time of the year are you planning your trip? Drop me a comment in the comments box below, I'd love to know. Right, so you know when to go. Now let's talk about how to get there, because you actually have two very different options, and one of them turns this trip into something completely different. Right, getting to Uluru. Option A, direct flight. Ayers Rock has its own airport. Qantas, Virgin Australia and Jetstar all fly directly from Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne and Cairns in around 3 to 3.5 hours time. Handy tip: getting in and out is expensive as fares are higher to the remote location. Therefore, you need to book early. Option B, and this is the one I want to spend a moment on. You would fly into Alice Springs and drive. Alice Springs is serviced by Qantas and Virgin from many major airports. From there you hire a rental car or camper van and you drive south and west on the 𝗬𝗏 Highway and then the 𝗬𝗏 Highway, about 470 kilometers in total. It's a fully sealed road the whole way and takes around about 5 hours to drive. You do not need a four-wheel drive, a standard rental car is completely fine. And here's why I recommend this route. On the way you can stop at Kings Canyon, it's about 3 hours away from Uluru. You can add one night here to your trip. The Kings Canyon Rim Walk is one of the great outback walks in Australia. 6 kilometers, around about 3 to 4 hours, and the views across the canyon walls are unlike anything else in the Red Centre. Practical note: fuel up properly in Alice Springs on the way south. Apart from a roadhouse, there are no other petrol stations until you reach Uluru, which is the village name for Ayers Rock. And keep your eyes open for kangaroos, particularly at dawn and dusk. They move into the road without warning. And here's a third option worth knowing about: the 𝗀𝗏. This is one of Australia's legendary train journeys from Adelaide to Darwin, or reverse with a stop in Alice Springs. The overnight trip from Adelaide to Alice Springs takes about 24 hours and passes through some of the most remote places on Earth. If you have the time, combining the 𝗀𝗏 with a self-drive to Uluru is a two-bucket experience in one trip. Right, let's talk about experiences once you arrived at Uluru Ayers Rock. The two things everybody knows about are the sunrise and sunset tours at the rock. And yes, they are non-negotiable. For sunrise, head to Uluru, the dedicated sunrise viewing area. For sunset, the car sunset viewing area is the most popular. Either way, arrive 30 to 45 minutes earlier. The bus tours roll in fast and a good position goes quickly. Now to the walks. Most visitors do a short section of the base walk and call it done, but here's what most travel guides won't tell you. The full Uluru base walk is 10.6 kilometers. It takes about 3 to 4 hours and is a completely different experience from the main viewing area. Flat, accessible and extraordinary. If you want shorter walks like the Mala walk, 2 kilometers comes with a guided cultural interpretation and is one of the most moving walks in the park. The 𝗀𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 walk is just 1 kilometer, takes you to the 𝗬𝗃𝗃𝗀𝗃 waterhole, a sacred site that is often quiet even in the peak season. That one is worth your time. Now, most people think Uluru is the main event, but here's the thing. In my mind, Kata Tjuta is more spectacular than Uluru. It's 50 kilometers from Uluru, 36 sandstone domes that dwarf anything at the main site. The Valley of Wind's walk is about 7.4 kilometers and considered one of the best walks in Australia. The 𝗬𝗏𝗃𝗁𝗃 walk is shorter and still extraordinary, and because most visitors stay glued to Uluru, Kata Tjuta sees a fraction of the foot traffic. Don't let Uluru steal all your time. After dark, there are 2 experiences worth booking in advance. The Field of Light, 50,000 solar-powered glass spheres spread across the desert floor, glowing after dark. Designed by British artist Bruce Monroe, it is as remarkable as it sounds. The sunrise viewing of the installation is particularly special. You can watch the spheres as the desert wakes up. The Bureau drone show, 1,200 drones, lights and lasers tell the Mala creation story. There is nothing else like it in Australia. But before any of this, your first stop at Uluru should be the Uluru Cultural Center. Free entry, always skipped. It gives you the context to understand everything else. You'll see the local history of the Anagu people, their stories, laws and connections to the place. Spend 45 minutes there and the whole visit lands differently. We're about halfway through, and what's coming next is where most Uluru trips either come together or fall apart. I'm going to show you where to stay, including an option most people don't even know exists, and then the insider truth that no brochure will ever print. If you find this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button below to stay in touch for more helpful travel videos to come. Please tick that little like button as well, as it helps our channel to grow. Thank you very much. Now, where to stay. Everything inside Ulara Township is operated by one company, Voyagers Tourism. One operator, no competition, which means prices are high and booking early is not optional. Inside the resort, your options run from the Outback Pioneer Hotel at the budget end through to Emu Walks apartments with self-catering kitchens to the Desert Garden Hotel, which is the only property in the village with direct rock view rooms. And at the top end, there's Sails in the Desert, 5-star, full spa, fine dining. But here's something else. The single most extraordinary place to stay at Uluru is not inside the resort at all. It's called Longitude 131 and is a collection of luxury tented pavilions positioned outside the main village, directly facing Uluru with completely unobstructed views of the rock from your bed. All-inclusive meals, guided experiences, park fees, all of it. Quiet, peaceful. And it's set so close to the desert floor that you can feel the place rather than just see it. It's one of the most famous luxury stays in Australia, and the main resort doesn't advertise it. For those who want a real outback experience without the resort polish at all, the Curtin Springs Station is a working cattle property about 100 kilometers from Ulara. Genuine station hospitality, cold beer and absolutely no tourism infrastructure. Perfect if you're self-driving and want to stay somewhere that feels like the real Australia. Right now, I promised you the insider truth, the things that no tourism guide includes. Here they are. This is the section I get the most messages about after people return from Uluru, because until you've been there, you just cannot imagine it. The flies. Outside the winter months, June through to August, the flies at Uluru are unlike anything you've experienced in a city. They are relentless. They go for your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. They have no fear. A head net is not a fashion item, it is a practical tool that will save your sanity. The worst period is November through to March, the summer season. April and May, easing. September and October, they're building up again. June, July, August, minimal impact with the flies. I made a dedicated videos on the seasons and the best time to visit Australia. Check out in the description box below. The climb up to Uluru is permanently closed. In October 2009, at the request of the local Anangu people, the traditional owners of the land, the climb to the summit of Uluru was closed for good. It had been done for decades. Some visitors still arrive not knowing this. A few more things that catches people out every single time. Photography is strictly forbidden in marked sacred areas around the base. The signs are clear, follow them. The National Park Pass, it costs $38 per person for a 3-day pass. Buy it online before you arrive. The resort is cashless. There are no cash transactions at Uluru, credit cards or 𝗬𝗆 cards only. Supplies, everything inside the resort is expensive. Stock up on snacks, water and sunscreen before you get there. Water, carry at least 1 liter per hour when you're walking. In the hot season, even more. And finally, stay longer than you think you need to. Most visitors do 2 nights. The minimum to Uluru and Kata probably is 3 nights. The early mornings before the tour buses arrive is the best, the quiet afternoons too. That's when Uluru is at its most magnificent. So where does Uluru fit into a broader Australia trip? The most natural pairings are straightforward. Fly from Cairns into Ayers Rock Airport in a 3-hour flight, which makes linking the Red Centre with the Great Barrier Reef easy. Sydney or Melbourne have both direct flights in and out, so Uluru works as a centerpiece or a standalone side trip from the coast. Consider the Ghana from Adelaide to Alice Springs, followed by a self-drive to Uluru, which gives you 2 of Australia's most memorable experiences back to back. I've put together a free Australia sample itinerary with distances, timing, accommodation notes. Grab it in the description box below and use it as your starting point. Getting those things right, the timing, the route, the extra nights in Uluru will be one of the most extraordinary things you've ever seen. Before you go, if you're building a proper Australia itinerary, check out the sample itinerary video up here, which includes Uluru Ayers Rock. Thanks very much for watching. See you in the next video.